Damn, just gonna hit the motherfucker? Bro, it is not that serious. Wow. Man, I didn't even know the live started. I thought it was talking about some destination stuff. So I don't even if we on the IDGA what's happening to all my Aboriginal brothers and sisters of the feather. You already know. That's how it go. Trying to find a parking spot over here at the 24-hour fitness. Get this shit off the screen. Yeah. Ooh. She got that booty meat. And the other one got that not so booty meat. Man, trying to find a parking spot over here is not the business. It is treachery. What are you looking at? Oh, yes. I'm parking right there. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Thank you. Winning. Stupid. So I'm just playing around. All right, cool. All right, cool. Here goes some information. Look, y'all. If you see these hieroglyphs right here, yeah, all my comedic, commission, golden doom beetle dudes. Yeah, man, look at this. So they will tell you that this is Jet Heru Ra, but they're gonna take out the Ra, and then they just gonna say Seba, or it's gonna be Jet. Now in this case, it would be Jet. That's what they're gonna tell you, that this is determinatives and this, that, and the third. But no, these are drawings that somebody made, put it into a press form, and put it on a piece of paper. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. You know, the wall is the original. Now, you have a problem when it comes to the wall. You got what's called palimpsest. Palimpsest, you have an issue because they scrub down walls and make hieroglyph lines over them and redraw hieroglyphs. In fact, all the cartoon-looking drawings, if they're called hieroglyphs over there in Egypt, are all remade by students from the University of Chicago. That's right. You know, they give you all this Napoleon stuff. They give you this Champollion, Francois Champollion. They give you this Thomas Young, and then they leave out all the other ones. They don't want you to know about von Hammer Purgstall. They don't want you to know anything about von Hammer Purgstall at all. In his alphabets. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you knowing about him and his alphabets. I do. They don't want you knowing about J.J. Bartholomew. They don't want you knowing about him. You know what I'm saying? All the hieroglyphic translating goofies, they don't want you to know about him. They don't want you to know about some Danish weirdo. His name slips my mind at the moment. I can't think of the weirdo's name. Oh well. There's like a whole list of other people. Whole list of other people. You know. What's the Danish weirdo? Oh well, I can't think of it. I'm on Bumyard. See, you know what? I really don't like StreamYard because StreamYard makes it to where you can't be out doing things. That you have to be stationary at your home, unproductive as fuck, bitch made looking like a motherfucker because you're not out making it happen in life. You know what I'm saying? You're not out moving and shaking, grinding and doing a goddamn thing. You're sitting on your ass, not working out, not making money, in front of a screen, talking to a fucking piece of machinery. Unproductive than a motherfucker. Excuse me, that's probably all the profanity you're gonna get. But unproductive. Like I have to say with some profanity so you can understand how bad it is. You are the most unproductive idiots on planet Earth. You are moving slow as hell. You are not with what's so-called moving with the technology. Because people will be doing live streams on their damn iPhone Apple Watch in about 3 years. But no, you guys wanted to wear a person stationary, where your IP address is being blasted all through StreamYard. People could hack on your IP address through StreamYard and all that. You know what I'm saying? You could just go on Zoom. Not saying that they can't do that to you on Zoom, but they don't. You could just go on Zoom. If you got a Zoom account and you can afford to pay the bill for Zoom, you can share your screen from your phone. Why are y'all on Bumyard? I just don't get it. StreamYard is like like the homeless shelter for homeless people. That's how I see StreamYard. I see StreamYard as the homeless shelter for homeless people because they wouldn't grow a pair of balls and go get Zoom. Because if they had Zoom, then it's like, damn, I have a handheld device where I can share the screen on my phone. Nah, you got to be on Bumyard where they can't even afford, where they don't even have the electronic I'm not even gonna say it. They don't have the capability of building in a screen share for your cell phone device, but Zoom has that. So everybody goes on StreamYard, so you can be stationary, bum as hell, talking to a bunch of men. I'd rather sit and talk to a bunch of women, to be honest. I'd rather see what's going on and how to grind out and make some business deals, what I'm saying, like some commercial real estate, what I'm saying, buying the actual property, not building something on it like the bums do, buying the whole property, making 10 million and shit, what I'm saying, moving like people who I associate with, but I'm saying, enough of the comparisons. So when you see these so-called hieroglyphs, your mind has been trained by Egyptologists to tell you what you see. You're not going to go communicate with people in Egypt. You're going to go by Egyptologists. And you can't go to anyone in America and say, what do these hieroglyphs mean? You can't. You just can't do it because you don't know. You have no knowledge of it. Now, you have people who do have knowledge of these things. You do have people who know that these hieroglyphs are not letters. You have people in Egypt that will tell you every single day that this is Suf. It has not net and netter. It's not hieroglyphs. It has nothing to do with anything. It's called Suf. And they're going to say, go to the Coptic church. But all you so-called Cometian meta-netter fools, all y'all go to Egyptologists. You'll try and point us to Martin Delaney, to whoever the hell now. From Martin Delaney to Dr. Ben. You're going to point us from Martin Delaney to Dr. Ben. And you're not going to look into anybody who actually was a part of this. You're not going to look into any of the details of it. And then you get confused because we are being told that Egypt is actually older in America. And then you go look it up and you're saying, damn, it is older in America. There was no such thing as Egypt over there until the 20th century. And then you go dig in deeper, you're like, wait a minute, man, they were changing stuff and building things, and you see cranes. Wait a minute, the whole Ramses temple with the mountain behind it, they moved all that. They made Egypt, man. They made Egypt. And in fact, all the monuments everywhere that has a tourist attraction are all altered ruins. All of them. Not one. So whenever they say, hey, we just found a new ruin, and you go look at it and you're like, damn, it looks like it's just covered up with stuff. We can't really make out anything. Yeah, that's right. Because when you see a real ruin before the Rockefellers and Rothschilds got in there, by the way, the Rockefellers and his team run the situation at the University of Chicago. All that's Rockefeller business. Anywhere they got some train tracks and some trains going on any other land over there, they're using oil to do a goddamn thing, that's all Rockefeller big business. I got the receipts and details to everything from the Aswan Dam to the cranes that they were moving, Ramses Head and all that. From the people who made up the history of Egypt, who made up the history of Egyptology and all the stuff connected to it. Got all that, Ben had all that. Thing is, I'm not giving nothing for free. You can't get it without paying money. You're gonna have to pay money to communicate with people who don't even speak English. You can do it yourself. If you're not paying me, go pay them. If you're not paying me, they are available. Go pay them, go talk to them, go extract the information for yourself. Good luck with your multi-thousands of $10,000 bill that you will be left with. I'm not gonna charge you $10,000, but I'm not giving no damn details for free. So anybody walking around here not understanding that ancient Egypt is originally from here, that the reason why is because the land is the deity itself, and that we are standing on megalithic structures, that we are full of effigy mounds, and when it comes down to the ones who are teaching us, they don't know what an effigy mound is. They don't know what a megalithic structure is. They don't even know what an altered ruin is, because they show me pictures of ruins that have been altered at least 20 times. Can we get the original black and white photos of all the ruins in the world, known world, flat or globe? I don't give a damn. Can we get any black and white images of all these ruins and then bring them all together and then start our investigation from there? No, you can't. So what happens if a pale face finds something and says something? We have people that will use this pale face to literally be the person that is their peer review for their information. They're not looking up any of this stuff on their own. They're not digging their feet into the dirt. They're not traveling to go see, find structures and do these things for themselves. So you get what you pay for. If the person doing the research is lazy, you're getting lazy research. That means the pinnacle of what you are basing your information on is from lazy research. Hardcore research, people are looking into the mineral content around the area. They're looking into the actual the stratigraphy. They're looking into these things. They're not looking at some pale-face paper. You know what I'm saying? They're not looking at none of that nonsense. They're getting their tools to test the minerals around the area, and they digging in. They're not doing none of this nonsense. None of this nonsense of reading some damn articles and on some websites or something like that, man. People are actually traveling around. So how is it that we have over 100,000 archaeological sites in the Great Basin? That's from Alaska down to Mexico. Why do we have that and nobody talks about what's in Alaska? Nobody talks about the ruins in Alaska. Nobody talks about that part of Canada with the ruins in Canada. Nobody talks about the ruins in Seattle. Nobody talks about the ruins in Oregon. I've heard very little about the ruins in California. There's a whole griffin in Sequoia. Big griffin sticking up out of the mountain. Y'all have been y'all have been following the wrong way to do research. And it's just, if it's important to you, go pay your money, man. Find out where all these places are. Go visit them. It just costs a little money. You just gonna have to do some traveling. That's all it takes. You're gonna have to do some traveling. I couldn't talk about the Seneca burial ground where my ancestors were buried at, and the other Seneca burial ground, which I had to make sure I had which one was right, without traveling to New York and seeing it for myself. By taking the paths that go from Ohio to Indiana into Canada, I had to go see that stuff for myself. I didn't just listen to somebody or read an article or something like that. I had to go travel. I had to pay money. I had to pay money for me to stay somewhere. Nah, well, man. And then a pale face will approach me like, man, we'll compensate you for like all that stuff you done and all this research. Look at the stuff that we seen around the area. Like, God damn, there's other ruins over here. I'm like, yeah, man, okay. Look at this state. Over 400 effigy mounds. Nobody talking about it. Not one person. Not a single person. There's a megalithic structure all throughout the Great Basin, big as like 2 states, with effigy mounds, ruins, and all kind of stuff that is just amazing all around it. You feel like you're in a whole nother world just going to the area. But we're never going to know, because anything that we're pointing to is going to be connected to a story that points us to an area where we can't see any of the stuff. We can't see none of the black and whites. We can't see anything. So pull out your black and whites. I want to see some black and whites. Anyway, I didn't even know which channels was still going. Just sparking up a major thing that, you know what I'm saying, we need to get into a ruin finding situation. Find your ruin. Buy your land if you want to pay for it. Move there if ain't nobody there, and just start building. However, which way you want to do it. You want to call it sovereign land or whatever the hell. But man, you mean to tell me it's over 100,000 ruins in the Great Basin, and all we talking about is a river? Civilization, bro. Robbing ourselves, man. Robbing ourselves. Well, anyway, I'm at the gym with it. Get y'all ass in the gym. Peace.